Transform your backyard into a birding haven for cavity nesting birds by providing them with nest boxes. I'll reveal all of my secrets so that you can have the best nesting season ever. Where you place your nest box will determine if it will attract birds in the first place. If you have multiple nest boxes, don't have them too close together. I would say that's the best way to not attract birds, is to have the nest boxes inside of each other. I have 3 nest boxes in my backyard, which are approximately 30 feet away from one another, and I've had amazing success with that. But initially, in the early spring, there is some competition going on, and that's to be expected. I wouldn't recommend putting a nest box on your fence. It allows for easy access to predators. What I do is I put in an in-ground pole and then add a box to the top of that. And for the best protection, adding a squirrel baffle on that pole. Have it at least 8 feet away from anywhere a squirrel can jump off of and get onto it. Have the hole facing east or southeast so that the morning sun will heat it, and then the young will be shaded in the afternoon. Be sure to secure a top-hanging birdhouse with Velcro to prevent it from swinging around in windy conditions. I'd recommend getting a plain wooden box or one like this one that's all natural looking so that it doesn't attract predators to it. I know those nice fancy boxes that are so cute look great in the yard, but I wouldn't recommend them. They're more for aesthetic than usability. The best place to buy nest boxes is at a birding store. They have the know-how of the birds in your area and have nest boxes specifically designed for them. Most importantly, make sure that you have a door or some way to take it apart to clean it out effectively. Big box stores have nest boxes, but sometimes the hole size and the box dimension may be wrong for the species. If the hole size is too big, birds like European starlings and house sparrows will take them over. Here is the ultimate way to make your nest box irresistible. In the wild, these cavity nesters excavate materials out of tree cavities. And the secret to getting them to nest in your nest box is to add wood shavings, about an inch and a half at the bottom. When you add them to the nest box, birds will take them out piece by piece, and spending all that time taking those wood shavings out, they'll become bonded to that box and start defending it from other birds. Red-breasted nuthatches have used this nest box under my deck for the past 2 years. Because it's under my deck, they don't really have any places to perch and look around, so I attach a stick close by so that they have a place to look around for dangers before exiting the nest box. One way to keep invasive species like European starlings and house sparrows from getting into your nest box is by using a 1 1/8 inch hole plate. This keeps the entrance just the right size for native birds like chickadees, nuthatches, and wrens. These hole plates also stop woodpeckers and squirrels from pecking and chewing a bigger hole. Native birds such as tree swallows, Carolina wrens, and bluebirds prefer a 1 1/2 inch opening, but with that entrance size, house sparrows can fit into it. To prevent these invasive species from taking over your bluebird boxes, try adding a narrow entrance guard. If you're wondering why I keep talking about non-native birds, and you want more information on why it's best not to encourage them to nest or eat from your feeders, please comment and I will make a separate video on that. To give your birds an upper hand and to help them build their nest as quick as possible, supply them with nesting materials close to the nest box. This way they expend a lot less energy going and trying to find these materials. And the reason why you want them to build their nest quickly is there's a bird called a house wren, which usually take over nests when they arrive in the springtime. A lot of people recommend dryer lint, and I don't recommend that at all. It could fall apart really easy and completely change the composition of the nest. It also contains a lot of harmful microplastics from polyester shirts and things like that. Stick to natural biodegradable materials like dried grass and moss and feathers that don't have dyes in them. Here are the ultimate nesting materials for black-capped chickadees. They love dried grass clippings. We have a pile that we put over for mulch on our apple tree, and they go there and they stuff their little faces with it, and that's what they use first to line the bottom of the box with. You can supply them with pet hair, that's completely fine, but make sure that the pet doesn't have anti-flea spray on their fur. There's also this cotton fiber that you can get at a bird store. But their all-time favorite that they use every single year is called super moss or forest moss. It's nice and soft for them, and they love it. This year I'm trying kapok fibers, which I'll talk about more in an upcoming video about how to attract nesting hummingbirds to your yard. Nesting season requires a lot of energy for these small birds, so you can help by providing them bird food and planting native plants that attract insects for them to feed their young. Offering fresh water sources is also crucial. It allows the parents to stay close to the nest to drink, and it's helping them protect the young from predators. If they go off to some other water source, come back, it's possible that a squirrel or a snake or a raccoon can come by and predate on the eggs and the young, or other birds may claim it. Now, how can you tell if your nest box is even being used by birds? Here are some signs to watch for. Observe if any birds are going in and out of the entrance, or if they're sitting on top of the box. With chickadees, if you listen closely enough, you'll hear the female pecking out a bowl shape at the bottom of the box, so you'll hear little taps inside of it. If they're carrying nesting materials, this means they're in the process of building a nest. You'll know when the female is on eggs because she rarely leaves the nest box, and you'll see the male go in and out feeding her. So romantic. The eggs have hatched if both the male and female are flying back and forth, bringing food to the young. As the babies get older, they'll start making peeping noises as the adults enter. You'll know when the babies are closer to fledging when their high-pitched peeps start sounding more and more like the adult calls. I love hearing that sound. That means they're almost ready, and the nest has been very successful. If you suspect your nest box is being used, it's best to observe from a distance to avoid disturbing the birds, especially during egg laying and chick rearing stages. Just don't stay around too long. Observe, then back off. We want them to be as successful as possible. Here's how to clean out your nest boxes for the bird's optimum health. The best time to do this is right after the babies have left the box. So make sure they're all gone. You can tell if the parents are no longer coming into the holes, they're out. Clean them outside and wear gloves and a mask to protect yourself from potential pathogens present in the box. They exist. You don't want that in your lungs. Use a gloved hand or a small garden shovel to scoop out any debris, feathers, and droppings. Dispose of this material away from the nesting area to prevent the spread of disease. Use a mixture of warm water and mild dish soap. Scrub the interior surfaces of the nest box thoroughly. After rinsing, disinfect it to kill any remaining bacteria or parasites. You can use a diluted vinegar solution with 1 part vinegar to 9 parts water and just let it soak in there. Rinse it out thoroughly and make sure that the nest box is dried completely. I just leave it open in the sunshine. This will help prevent the growth of mold or mildew. Before you mount it, inspect the box for any signs of damage, such as cracks or loose parts. Repair any gaps where water can get in. Make sure that the nest box has holes at the top to release heat. Sometimes the nest boxes can get really hot. The same goes for holes at the bottom of the box to prevent it from flooding if rain gets in. With habitat loss and HOAs telling us to cut our trees down, it truly makes a difference in helping our native cavity nesting birds by putting up nest boxes. Please join in the conversation and share your experiences with nesting birds in the comment section. I love talking birds. Anytime, anywhere, anyhow. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe so I could make more. Thank you for being here and enjoying the birds with me. Happy birding.